The Missouri Department of Corrections says there was no lockdown after a couple of assaults on staff at Tipton Correctional Center last week. But ABC 17's Joe McLean uncovered documents that contradict that statement. Tonight, ABC 17 News investigates why the state agency is telling conflicting stories.
These photos show the heavy amount of damage that triggered a days-long lockdown at Tipton Correctional Center back in July. You can see these photos at abc17news.com. Well, last Wednesday, we heard about another lockdown happening at the same facility. When I tried to confirm that with the administration, I got no response. That's when several employees sent me this internal memo.
It was an email from TCC Warden Dan Reddington to the facility's staff, praising them for their response to, quote, several major events that occurred Wednesday, October 3rd. The email goes on to say, quote, because of the events, the institution was put on lockdown status and all offenders were sent to their units for the day. Multiple calls and emails to DOC spokesperson Karen Pojman went unanswered, but the next afternoon, the department broke its silence on the situation in a short news release. Quote, we have received false reports of a major disturbance and lockdown at Tipton Correctional Center. These reports are inaccurate, later saying the facility is not on lockdown. According to the press release, 2 inmates assaulted 2 corrections officers in separate incidents and that no other assaults, injuries, or structural damage have been reported. After days without a response from the Department of Corrections, I caught up with spokesperson Karen Pojman outside the administration building in Jefferson City to ask about the conflicting statements. You're late for a meeting?
Yes.
Is there any time that you can talk about?
I'm happy to talk to you right now off camera.
Without our cameras rolling, Pojman told me it's possible she was mistaken, but that the discrepancy was likely that the warden said lockdown in an email to staff, but simply meant a controlled movement and inmate count.
This internal serious incident report from October 3rd says there was a Code 60 or total institutional lockdown that day. Now, Pojman also said during our conversation that the report she saw only listed 2 staff injuries that day. But this summary of the second shift on Wednesday, October 3rd, clearly says there were 3 staffers injured.
A few hours after our meeting outside DOC headquarters, I got a call from Pojman telling me she had spoken to the warden who confirmed her version of the story, that it wasn't technically a lockdown. She said the press release was aimed at letting families know visiting for last weekend was still on, despite what she described as minor incidents. Following the night of July 4th, the department also described the disturbance at TCC as minor. These photos we uncovered show the extent of the damage following that night. I asked the department for an estimate on what this will cost Missouri taxpayers. I have yet to get a response.
I asked more than a dozen correction officers for an interview for this story, but none of them agreed, citing fear of retaliation from the department.
Now, we have filed multiple sunshine requests for information about the incidents at Tipton Correctional Center and other facilities. So far, we haven't gotten a response to those requests. We will have a lot of information on this case. If you have something you want to share with us or you want us to investigate, go to our website and click on the ABC 17 News Investigates. Under the News tab, from there you can click on the banner to submit a tip online, and you can do it anonymously.